Welcome back. Welcome to the Real Estate Addicts Podcast with your host, Ray Hurto, RH Investment Group.
Dan Rubin, RH Investment Group.
Mark Savatsky, Choose Boston. And joining us today as our guest,
Adam Jaspon, Centerline Development.
Nice.
I was going to do that on the table.
Thanks for coming to the studio. What do you think?
This is incredible. I love the space. I'm jealous.
We just need to hear it over and over, how nice our spaces are. Nothing bought from Alibaba either.
No.
Well, except that mug.
Yeah.
You want to
Mark, you want to
talk about it?
No,
the union now?
Yeah, we'll give a quick plug. We're opening the union end of this month. April 1 is the soft launch. It's a co-working space. I like to say it's like we work for real estate professionals, but I need to come up
much better,
much more professional, less scammy than we work. Anyway, we'd love if you're looking for an office space in Boston, be surrounded by a really good network of people. It's a super cool physical space too.
Adam, you said you were gonna.
I've reserved an office space over there.
Founding member.
That's
there you
it.
go.
So tell us what you're going to be doing in the office. You guys are doing construction, development, all of the things?
All the above. So we have a few projects of our own going on, and we're doing quite a bit of client work. So kind of spread out right now. We've got work in Westwood, Charlestown, project we're proposing in Bridgewater. We've got a rental project, a hold of ours out in Leominster going on.
Oh, wow.
So we're kind of all over the place.
All right, so tell our listeners and viewers, you're a GC?
Yeah, we started out as a spec builder, developer, doing only our own projects. We've since transitioned to a mix of both. So we do custom home building, construction management, and we do some of our own projects.
Very cool. This is very similar to Sam and Nick, who we had on a few episodes ago.
Yes.
Yeah.
Adam took over a project that I did OPM work for during the zoning and approval process. I helped kind of shape the programming of the building, look at some initial budgets, make decisions on a very high level. And then as we came through ZBA, my friend pulled Adam and his team in to then take the reins and carry it through construction and completion. You guys crushed that.
Yeah, that was a great project. We were
6 units.
Yep, 6 units in Savin Hill. We were pumped to be a part of that team. Project went excellent. We were thrilled with, I believe the developers were thrilled with the end result as well.
Yeah. Where were you price per square foot at the end of that?
I think we were right around 300 square at the...
Including your fee in there?
Yeah,
That's
everything.
Great. That's perfect.
It was a great project. I think we came in right around or just under 5% over budget. We were pretty happy with that at the end.
Was it a weird transition going from being like your own developer to doing third-party GC work? How did that go?
Very. We had always referred work away. We were never interested in doing client work. And then Brian and I kind of realized it would be good to have, we wanted to get ourselves on payroll, honestly. It would be good to have some revenue coming in, not waiting, 12, 18, 24 months to get paid. So we decided we were going to take on work, and one of our first client projects was actually a friend of ours, who's a lender of ours. Shout out Brianna from Cardinal. And Brianna bought office space on Clarendon and asked us to fit it out. And I'm thankful that our first client project was with her and not someone we didn't know.
Kind of work out all the kinks and the bugs of the process.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's not easy setting up a new process.
We know construction, but
soft launch. When a restaurant opens, right? When you just invite your friends who are going to be like, don't worry that the pizza took 3 hours.
Mark, you okay over there with the microphone?
No, I'm typically not.
You're destroying this place. You're distracting Adam. All right.
What do you want me to do?
Go ahead, Adam, before you were so rudely interrupted by Mark and his microphone blunders.
Thanks. Nuts.
Don't worry, the co-working space is much better.
Fuck this guy.
I hope so. I might have to back out.
See, Mark's just working out the kinks. Just
do you guys want to rent space?
Yeah, well, I'm sitting back.
We'll give you an office,
so there we
yeah.
go. All right.
This thing's going off the rails. Let's get back on. Let's get back on.
All right, let's go. So wait, Adam's a GC now.
So he's working out the kinks with Brianna. You were saying.
So what was the biggest kink? like the restaurant analogy, is it like the waiter spilled red wine on the guest, or was it just like the mozzarella sticks took a little too long to come out?
Yeah, the mozzarella sticks took a little too long.
It wasn't anything like
it was a communication aspect.
Fell,
We had no process. We were so used to doing our own projects, making decisions quickly and moving fast. We had no process for communicating with the client, planning things out with the client, realizing that decisions might take days, not hours. So that was a learning curve for us. I mean, we delivered a great product. I think the office came out great. But we learned a lot. And then Brianna actually had us do a condo right around the corner for her as well. And it was a great segue right into that to continue to improve that process. And then from there, we ended up working on that condo project in Savin Hill. Process got better, and now we're doing a custom home in Westwood, and some hopefully newer client projects on the horizon.
Do you operate mainly on like a cost plus model? How do you handle?
Yes.
Okay.
Typically cost plus. We try to stick to cost plus. Makes me feel comfortable and I can sleep at night. We have done a fixed fee, where essentially we built the budget, agreed on the budget with the client, projected what our cost plus fee would be, and then locked the fee there.
So that's just the fee. Yeah. That's not the actual.
Right.
If the cost of the materials or labor happens to shift around.
Correct.
Your fee is locked
fair.
in.
That's fair.
I mean, there's cost of the work and then there's fee.
Yeah.
And I like that you fix the fee. It's like, listen, if you buy Sub-Zero appliances or you buy GE appliances, my fee doesn't need to go up or down.
Right.
You figure out those things.
Yeah.
I mean, within reason, I can see arguments for why, like you picking the Carrera marble from, this one spot in Italy and one piece breaks. It's like, do you know how much of a headache
I mean, I would push back on the appliance analogy just because there's more prep involved with certain appliance lines, but
like locations of things
outlets.
behind.
More thought. But you're not wrong. Generally, you're correct, and it's not really. You need to be specific in the language in cost plus about, well, if lumber goes way over, my fee shouldn't continue to go up, right? It's not really fair.
Yeah. Materials aren't really.
I mean, they do in most traditional construction contracts.
Right. And we've had contracts that way.
Yeah.
But I can understand why somebody would want to fix the fee. They want to be careful things don't get out of control. With that said, we have a change order process. So if the client makes a change, there's still a 20% fee on that change.
Mm-hmm.
Client-driven fee versus market force-driven fee. That's a pretty good idea.
Yeah.
You could even almost do a hybrid of that. And have you done this where you kind of have a fixed fee, but then maybe you do have that cost plus, but almost a not to exceed an NTE on the fee, or is that just too complex?
We haven't. I mean, we started with just cost plus. We've just done this fixed fee contract for the first time. But we'll see, as we get through more projects, I'm sure we'll find what we like and see if we want to make any improvements.
Well, the very first new construction project Dan and I did, we ended up finding, we had an end buyer. Our agent got us an end buyer, and we had
So you pre-sold it?
We pre-sold, or we were under agreement during construction, and we did something very similar where we let them pick all the fixtures out.
Sure.
But we did run into a lot of issues, whether it was with timing or with allocated budget amounts and tracking variances to that budget. There was no fee per se, because it was still kind of a spec build, but client management or buyer management was tough. And so I'm sure you've come a long way figuring that out. Do you have a certain system now?
Are you only doing third-party GC work for builders and developers? You're not doing third-party GC work for end users, are you?
So we're doing both. We're doing CM work for developers, but we're also doing custom home building. And I think we'll probably do a little bit of both still. I like the custom home building more for the love of building and how beautiful the homes are. But building for a developer is kind of nice because it's basically like we're building our building. They give us
what to
decisions are made much faster.
They give us the plans, the design package, and we just go. There's a lot less back and forth during the project.
Nice.
I'll challenge one kind of notion there, is that like client-driven changes are a change to the fee, but market-driven changes are not. It's like there's such a blurry line. Like unless you are pricing, if you price the job plans and specs, then when a client says they're picking the Sub-Zero appliance instead of what was shown, I mean, isn't that a client-driven change? You know what I mean?
Yeah. If that appliance selection involves other changes, like do we need to rework plumbing or electrical because of it? For example, the home we're building in Westwood, the client has a Miele, I can never pronounce it. Miele coffee maker, which had to be, if that was added after the fact, that would have definitely been a client-driven change order that would have been marked up.
All right, because that would impact the whole cabinet. Was it built in?
Cabinet, it's built in. Yeah. Cabinet layout, electrical, plumbing.
Dan's got one. Yeah. How are you handling, I guess, initial budgeting with some of these projects? Because Ray and I have talked about doing some third-party GC work as well. And my thought process was, it's great, but I don't want to go out to my subs all of the time asking them to bid stuff, and then half of the stuff falls, falls through,
you don't want to bid. Yeah,
and we don't end up moving forward with the project. How are you assigning an initial budget in-house, and then if you decide to move forward, then you're going out to your subs for actual bids, or how is that process handled?
Yeah, so it is an interesting process.
I just don't want to piss off the subs.
Well, you think about
that's the game
when you're doing your own projects. You really don't bid everything, right? You oftentimes have the guys you want to work with on or certain trades, but with a client, you kind of have a duty to look out for their best interest, right? We've made it very clear to the clients that we are in control of selection. And we work with the guys that we want to work with, number one.
Sub-selection.
Yes, sub-selection, yep. But the process starts with an initial estimate based on the information we have. We build that. We review that. We review that with them. If we're moving forward, then we go get some initial bids, budget prices. I tell the subs, this is not a hard bid. I don't expect you to live up to this to the dollar, but something in the ballpark. Guys that I can rely on, guys or girls that I can rely on to give me a
price per foot, price per fixture, price per whatever.
And we use that to build the initial estimate. Once we've decided we're moving forward, we then send out bid requests. Once we have a full package, the plans, the design package, we will not work without a designer anymore.
So your client has signed on at this point, right?
Yes. I think this is important.
It's a big deal because we've gotten into it's made the relationship with the client very strained when we don't have a designer, because even if I provide them with the template to use, it never really gets fully filled out, and selections are missed and things, and then we're having conversations about why we're over budget.
I see this all the time, especially with even owner-driven changes for a spec condo. It's there are so many downstream. Just because you pick this tile, have you thought about how that tile is going to terminate? Is it a bullnose? Is it a exclusion strip? What's the grout color going to be? Do you still want the drain there? Is the drain now a different color?
Right.
You can just go on and on.
Oh, you could go for toilet selection.
Yeah. Is the rough the same rough?
You don't want to find out that they want a skirted toilet when you're ready to install the toilet, because it's not going to work. We're going to have to, especially if you're on a slab on grade or in a basement, it doesn't work. You need to know that. I needed to know that 4 months ago. So
why doesn't a skirted toilet work on slab on grade?
No, if we've already roughed the if we've already roughed the toilet.
Oh, I see.
We need to know what we're using ahead of time so we rough appropriately.
Right.
So if we've already finished the floor and we can't,
or you could just have the toilet float in the middle of the room.
Just get an offsetting flange.
I want a condo
just
in Florida.
A foot off the wall.
Just offset the flange, no problem.
Dude, my condo in Florida, the guest bathroom, the toilet must have been 8.5, 9 inches off the wall.
No,
It was
just
so
a void.
it was like the strangest thing.
Oh,
So
wow.
I was like, I'm gonna fix this, and I like took the toilet off. It was a cast iron stack.
Oh, God.
There was like the only way to cut it was from the inside of the pipe. It was one of these moments where like I rolled up my sleeves and like got halfway into the project and was like, I need a pro. This is not.
Or just build a knee wall with like a shelf.
Yeah,
like a nice accent behind it.
There you go. Yeah.
What did you do?
What did I do? Oh, we used an offset flange. We cut it, and then we got a Kohler with a 12-inch rough, I think.
Okay.
So it was one of these toilets that's like meant to the sewer stack in it, the rough is further towards the front, so the thing favors the wall more.
So it hugged the wall.
Yeah.
So between that and the offset
it's
flange,
still 5 inches. Like it's not.
So you only made 4 of that.
It's not. Yeah. It's really hard to make room back on those things.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Should have just.
Sounds like you need a 2x4 wall still.
Yeah.
All right, getting back on track. So you require and mandate interior designer.
Yeah. So if the client doesn't already have a designer on board, we'll provide a couple options and we'll let them interview the designer and decide who they want to work with. If it's a really small job, we might
even with developers.
Yes. But we haven't encountered that yet. The developers typically already have a designer.
You become the designer.
Right.
And it's not your job.
And we didn't.
They say, oh, I don't like that. It's like, all
We
right,
didn't
well, do you want me
carry
to go
for that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I also feel that it's not always, but sometimes having a middleman or middle person between you and the client that dictates or guides them in a certain direction is much better.
Right. There's no conflict of interest, if you will. Like, oh, I wanted you to choose this because it's easier for me to install versus it looking good or a style that matches what you're going for.
And there's give and take. Like if designer specs something, you're like, oh, I really don't want to do that. But or you just know it's not gonna work, or it's gonna be extremely expensive. Maybe we should consider pivoting. But overall, I think you get a better product and a lot less headaches when you have a designer who thoughtfully specs the finishes and guides the client based. Client can tell the designer what they want, but they need help because they don't really know what they're looking at generally.
It's an art form to say no in a way that is sensitive to the whole team, because you can get run over, and if your spidey sense says don't install that product in that way, it's going to leak, it's going to be terribly complicated, my guys don't have experience with that, like that should be the answer. End of full stop. Unless they want to bring someone in or pay more, like, because at the end of the day you have to stand behind that work.
Right.
Yeah. I agree. It's also another thing where it's having someone put together bathroom elevations, and if you're doing built-in, like all the elevations are done, you can just give it to your subs. They know exactly where stuff needs to be mounted. You can block walls for certain things if you want to install bathroom hardware, things like that. It makes a world of a difference if you have those types of things.
Such a value add and allows us to move a lot faster and have less mistakes when the math has been thought through on the tile layout. How's the tile going to line up with the shower valve?
Yeah.
We just post it. We review it with the installers, and like to your point, the framers know where to block, plumbers know where to rough. They don't have to call me to ask me what height I want the slide bar at or whatever.
Yeah.
Everything is already thought through, and we post it. They build it as it's supposed to be. We check it. And then same goes for tile. The tilers come in, and I think bathrooms is it's a prime example of why we need the designer.
Even reflective ceiling plans and things like that. Where are all the light fixtures going? Just give it to your electrician. They know exactly where to run things. You don't have to spend half a day with them being like, oh, well, I think I want to tweak that recessed light and move it like 3 inches that way. Like,
as the projects get more complicated, we've all built a basic condo with basic recessed lighting, but you start adding in speakers, recessed heaters in the ceilings,
LEDs.
Yep. You need to think through where it's going to be placed. Obviously, you can do it on site and VIF, but it adds time and generally mistakes.
Yeah.
If you're doing a single family, that's one thing. It's still a pain in the butt, but when you're trying to build multifamily, these types of one-offs are killer.
Yeah.
Little changes that just... They'll destroy your schedule.
The bigger projects have bigger teams anyway, and installing in the field, they expect this level of detail because they don't want to be running into the trailer, every half hour. Hey, can you come show me where you want this one to be? I forgot what height you said. Just put it on paper.
I'll give you a real example of a time recently that I didn't stand my ground as far as a change that I thought was a bad idea. Buyer wanted a different tile, and specifically it was like a large format porcelain. I'm talking like 90 pounds per tile, 60-inch by 40-inch format. It's really beautiful in the end. But they also wanted a towel warmer, and ultimately the towel warmer was in conflict with the door. And it was a good example of where also I had them show me exactly where they wanted the towel warmer. So I installed it per their spec. But in the end, they wanted the thing moved because the door couldn't swing fully. And so we're chipping out gigantic tiles and follow the end of this story. He sucks. The installer was taking the 90-pound tile down the hallway, and he damaged a number of pieces of herringbone floor. And it's like, now I pay for that? God damn it. Yes. It's just the collateral damage of doing things that are just very complicated in a multifamily environment where guys aren't set up.
I'll give you a similar example. In Lynn, on the ground floor, Ray and I wanted to do brick because we said it's much more resilient on the exterior for the cladding. We wanted to do first floor brick, more resilient, holds up to people, elements, etc.
Very transient location. Lot of
downtown.
traffic.
Architect argued tooth and nail that they wanted us to keep the fiber cement paneling and ACM paneling that they spec'd.
And we were okay with the ACM. We just wanted brick on.
Fast forward, building's been open 18, 24 months. What do you think has happened?
Yeah.
All these panels are getting damaged. People are bumping into them. People are punching them. They're getting cracked all over the place. Yeah. And we wanted to do brick. And we were basically convinced otherwise.
I feel like we were stonewalled. I don't want to. I'll put it on the record. I don't believe that the weight of the brick was creating some kind of structural problem. We wanted to do
thin brick veneer, and he was telling us that it was structurally unsafe.
I mean, they're on a brick shelf off the foundation.
Correct.
You're talking about the first 8 feet, and the hanging it from the wood frame.
And also, the majority of the weight of the building was carried through the steel structure, which had its own footing. So we just felt like we weren't heard in that scenario, and now it's come full circle.
And guess who's paying for
now
all
it's costing
fixes?
you money.
Right.
Yeah,
and it's just frustrating because now, I was really excited when, this is a major tangent, I was very excited when Google Maps Street View updated, because for the longest time, people are like, oh, where's your building? And they go see the old bank that was there. I'm like, oh, our building's finally going to be there. Of course, they drive by, there's 4 different punch spots. So I'm submitting these map updates, can you blur this section? I've got some privacy concerns in this one area of the building. And I think they did
some junkie shooting up.
Yeah. It's very frustrating.
Yeah. All right. So the GC world is an interesting new part of your business, and you've got staff now too. That's always one of those inflection points.
Full time.
Yeah.
Yes. We got 2 guys. We started. We brought one guy on full time last March. We had dabbled with a couple of guys before that didn't work out, and it was a challenge to find the right guy. When we finally really put some effort into finding a full-time site super, we got some great candidates. We met a lot of great people.
So that's what you hired for, super.
Yes.
And what was that? Be specific. What was that process specifically? You said the initial didn't work. Was it just kind of, hey, who in their network knows somebody?
It was just people in our network that weren't a great fit, or maybe we weren't a great fit for them. Ultimately, I realized that we needed to be more intentional about finding the right person. So we did just put it out to our network that we were hiring. I think I posted on Instagram, and I got a bunch of feedback. And we interviewed quite a few guys. And ultimately, 2 guys really stuck out to me. But one guy in particular, who we ended up hiring last March, he'll have been with us for about a year now, this month. He came from a survey background. So right away I saw a huge bonus there, because I'm we can do our own construction layout. in house. So we had a few conversations with him. He hadn't worked for a construction company before. He had only been doing survey work, but he loves construction and home building. Like, he built his own house. He's like a building science nerd. He loves it. So we were excited to bring him on. He came on board, and there were things he had to learn to get up to speed, but he knew a lot. It was really helpful. He's a pretty intelligent kid. He's helped Mark out a little bit on a project. He's been great. So right away, it allowed us to kind of scale a bit. I didn't have to be everywhere.
What a cool background for a GC to have, like, to be able to survey and do layout. Like, that's kind of the name of the game when you're on site as a supervisor.
So he had an interesting background.
Yeah.
And
so
that was pretty helpful. So has he done those verifications in the field?
So doing just laying out the corners for the hole, laying out the corners for the footings, foundation walls.
He has his own equipment for all that?
We bought equipment.
Okay.
Nice. So we own the equipment, but Sean uses it. And then we actually allowed, to entice Sean, we allowed him to essentially subcontract to us for the survey work. So it's not, while he's on an hourly rate for site super work for us, we pay him separately for the survey work.
Okay.
What was his motivation for coming over and switching gears on his end?
He was done with the survey world. He had it. He was just bored, and
day in and day out finding data points, and
he wanted to get into this. He was looking for a way to break into this.
Pretty cool.
And I think he needed the right fit, and it just worked out.
And then, do we want to talk property management?
Oh,
because
sure.
There's all these different verticals. This was kind of like the focus of our episode last week, is the idea that, like, real estate development, the cash flows are up and down and up and down, and it's nice to have something to balance out those humps and valleys. And so general contracting, I like
peaks and valleys.
Yeah,
humps and valleys.
I mean, humps. Okay. I mean, it's like
it is peaks and valleys.
Yeah,
how about the same thing?
Humps.
Okay.
Never heard of
that. Some people say humps. It's actually the French
on Wednesday
interpretation.
On Wednesday, they say.
Yeah.
They say a lot.
That's right. Anyway, so you did property management for a little while. You were our property manager. You guys did a good job, but you just divested.
We started with the idea, originally when it was still just Brian and myself, it started with the idea that we were building a lot of condos, all condos. Why are we sending all the property management out? Like, why not keep it in-house? It's not a money maker, but it at the time it was bringing in some money. It was paying for our insurance, for our cell phones, things like that. And then it started to grow, and it got to a point where we couldn't really just handle it ourselves anymore. Mm-hmm. It was taking up too much of our time. So we felt like we needed to hire somebody. And we did. And at that point, the revenue was just enough to pay that person. And then we were still involved too much. And we were like, this is not
You're not making any money.
We're not making any money.
Overhead.
It was taking up we were providing way above and beyond the service that most companies do. And it was taking up way too much of Brian's time. For a company that makes no money, Brian was spending probably 80% of his time on property management and 20% on the real moneymaker, which is development and construction. It just didn't make sense. And we just kept kicking the can down the road for a couple of years.
And were you only taking on buildings that you built and turned over, or were you?
It started off that way. And then people started coming to us, do you want to manage our building? And we took them on. We took on Mark's building. Mm-hmm. And it just got to a point where Brian
That's an easy one because it's just so well built.
That's true. Although we've had a lot of warranty calls.
Yeah, I know. The most Mickey Mouse.
That is the buyers, not Mark. And I've learned from property management how brutal. It's not just me. It actually made me feel better about myself, how crazy the buyers can be. In these condo buyers in particular. And not everything, but
you walk into it. Yeah. I mean, I don't know if you get into that level of detail where we were pre-closing one time and they want paint touch up, right? And normally you blue tape the wall.
Sure.
This was like the Smurfs came through and one of their heads exploded. Like, just repaint the whole wall.
Or they want you to repaint after they moved in.
Yeah.
Oh, my movers didn't nick this.
Well, we sometimes depending on the project, but we'll negotiate with our painter and ask him and be like, hey, as part of your bid, once all of the units turn over or when everyone moves in, can you come back and do any touch-ups with...
I was just having a conversation with somebody about this, and they told me that that's their policy now.
I do this at the end of my warranty period.
They just do...
at the end of the warranty.
Because there's still going to be settlement. There's going to be no plaster cracks.
That's fair.
Right.
It's like whatever you damage, whatever you scuff.
We're just going to paint it.
Yeah.
Right. Maybe it was you.
And they know that during the blue tape walkthrough. So it takes some of the pressure off to get every last thing before Mark leaves the room forever. It's
That's
like,
true.
Relax, so this is an hour.
It also makes a big difference. Sorry to cut you off.
No.
When furniture is in the place and there's paintings on the wall and things like that.
Yeah.
People look past a lot of imperfections.
Is that a blank check that we're going to paint the whole place? Or?
No, it's blue tape. I mean, put up blue tape reasonably. And also everybody needs to open their front door in the same day. I'm not sending the painter on Tuesday for you and Thursday for Adam. It's a courtesy. And if you're one of these people who has to be home when the painter's there, work from home or you're not going to get the service. And I'm not, so I'm also fairly strict about that.
We definitely talked about this.
That bothers me so much.
Yeah, we definitely spoke about this. I forget when, but you basically, it's a good practice, right? Your 1-year warranty period, send me a list of things that could be an issue.
Yeah, it's just cosmetic
and just
stuff.
work through it.
Yeah, I'm not inviting it.
No. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to abandon you. We're going to check in once. And no, you didn't say that?
Whatever my painters can
Mark
touch
said,
up.
Blue tape, paint, Ray, not other things that are
not other things.
Yeah.
I feel similarly, though, that if I'm going to send the painter there to fix like cracks over the door, settling cracks. All right. Yeah. He can touch up that and the other thing too. Why not? He's going to have the paint open anyway.
The paint. Yeah. But I'm not going to bring my tile guy back to touch up grout and I'm not doing that type of stuff.
This is like high level stuff. Like if there's a list of questions or things, you can have them kind of sent to us towards the end of the 1-year period. And then we kind of go through it and say, yeah, this is covered. This is not.
Just talking about buyers being reasonable or slightly crazy. I have this idea and I don't know how to do it yet, but I want to learn. I want to be able to look up your Google reviews, all of the ones that you've left. You can't do this unless you find one they already left and click on it, and then it'll bring you through everything they've reviewed.
Yeah.
But I think a major red flag for a buyer would be just like tons of negative Google reviews.
Right. Yeah. 1-star review at
the mozzarella sticks took too long and you went nuts. It's like red flag. I don't know what FHA says about not selling homes.
I bet
if
you found their email or Google account and asked AI to do it,
trust me, I
guarantee you.
Yeah. Oh, well, if anyone out there knows how to do that, I'd love to chat.
The worst offenders are when someone goes to a restaurant. You're looking at Yelp reviews, and someone goes to a restaurant and gives them a 1-star, and the review is like, the service was exceptional, the food was unbelievable, but they were super busy on a Saturday night. I had to wait 45 minutes for a table. I was like, what?
Right.
What?
And they're reservation only, and they squeezed you in.
Yeah. And I'm good with a 3-star, even a 2-star. Like, shit happens. If it's written in such a way that's like, maybe you own some of it, you're like, you acknowledge, like, hey, I get that, like, the industry is difficult at this time, and they were understaffed, and they were trying, but even despite that, my food took 2 hours. Like, you have a gripe.
Yeah.
It's legit. But it's different when people are like, nah,
There are people that just are going to complain.
Yeah.
You're not going to please everyone.
No.
And there's always the people that will basically create a list and add to the list over the course of the year.
Right.
And then 2 weeks before your warranty period's up, you'll get an email with a list of 3 pages of things.
I don't agree to holdbacks.
Holdbacks
just become like a never-ending thing. It's like a holdback was for specifically the crack, the dent on the coffee table.
Correct.
And then all of a sudden it's like, also that and that, you're not getting that money back. And it's like, okay,
that's happened.
From now on, we just don't close. I'm fine. Your movers are scheduled for tomorrow. That sucks. We're not closing. If we can close, I will fix the coffee table.
Yeah.
Fair.
No, agreed. We've had a buyer who just kept adding to his list of holdback items.
Yeah.
And after the closing, and he claimed that his attorney told him to do that.
Yeah, it's just abusive.
And we just got fed up, and we just said, you know what, keep the money.
Yeah.
Forget it.
Yeah.
We're done. And
Also, I'm done warranting your
I'm not
products.
giving, that's what I said. I'm not fixing anything else. Forget it.
Yeah.
I'm done.
That's the road that's the path they chose.
Exactly. And I had the conversation with him,
short-sighted.
and he said, okay. And that was it.
He's going to need you for something someday, and he's going to really regret that.
Yeah. Property management's a grind.
Yeah,
It's
so
an absolute
we realized it was worse on our own buildings than others, obviously, because now you're locked in, and they think like they have this constant open line for you to fix whatever they want. And
But
the
you charge
line
them a fee for
gets
that?
blurred. Well,
Yeah.
it becomes very blurry.
Right. Like what's in scope, what's out of scope.
I think we used to be way too nice too. We would just feel bad charging for it, and it's like,
Well, it's tough, right?
Yeah.
Because they just paid off a huge chunk of your debt, and or that was the last unit that made the nut. So it's you don't want to disappoint a customer. There's that aspect to it. 100% agree with that state of mind. But you don't want to be feeling taken advantage of, or like, hey, I need help with this battery in my smoke detector. Like, dude, get a ladder, figure it out.
That's ultimately what happens. You end up resenting the people because I think they do. Not everybody does this, but people will take advantage, and you let them take advantage, and then it ends badly.
I can see where it's also awkward where you are the builder and developer,
and they're like,
and now you're also taking over the property management. So it's like you've never left. It's like you can't walk away.
It's almost like you're not going to stand behind your product and fix it. And you're like, well you've lived here for a year. You know, everybody's house gets dinged up.
It's similar to being a design build contractor where you own the design and the construction. Like any change order, the client's just staring at you like bug-eyed, like, well, why did the door come a different size from the drawings? And it's like, I didn't promise perfection. That's not the standard. That's not a reasonable standard. That's what contingency is for. But anyway,
that's fair.
What's an upbeat topic that we can finish on as it relates to Centerline? So tell us about something coming up that you're pumped about.
Also, so you just basically sold your property?
So we didn't. There wasn't anything to sell per se. So what we did was we referred all of the contracts away to we interviewed like 4 property management companies, right? And Brian and I, the big thing was we didn't want to leave these. We were really worried about leaving these people high and dry. Most of the 3 units, 4 units should be able to manage themselves, honestly, but a lot of them didn't want to. So we didn't want to leave anybody high and dry, and we wanted to make sure that they were actually in good hands and not just another property on somebody's list that gets ignored. And we found a company that we felt was the best fit. So we referred those contracts, and we handled the transition, and that company will pay us a referral fee.
Oh, nice.
Like a one-time referral
for each
fee.
contract that actually stays with them. Yes.
Okay.
I was actually going to say, let's talk money real quick. Like, what's the cost usually just to manage the basics of the HOA? Obviously, it doesn't have to do with any expenses. It's just flat price per door.
A bit, but generally, rule of thumb, about $60 a door per month.
It's not bad.
That's so low.
I know.
I was going to say,
so
in my head,
high
I'm thinking 100. I mean, Dan and I, we have our own property management in-house, and we're about 75, but that's because, you know, we've got
it's all funny money. We're paying our own.
It's a numbers game. I mean, these companies that do it full time, they manage a lot of units.
Right.
You know, we built it up to about 100 units, and we were like, we got to get out of this.
All right, well, back to tell us something you're excited about. What's good?
What's good for 26?
Centerline, yeah.
So we got a project in Leominster, rental project that we're really excited about.
It's a big one.
It's 2 buildings on one property. We finished building 2 and stabilized that back in the summer. We finally got up and running on construction on building 1. We should have that finished and stabilized by
how many units?
September. Total 15. It's an 8 and a 7.
Nice.
You know that Leominster building came through me initially?
Did it?
Rick?
That's right.
Someone I knew from like growing up.
You put him in touch with Benny?
Reached out. I was like, I'm involved in this project, and we're looking to sell the deal, and it's in Leominster. And I was like, I don't know anyone who does work in Leominster. Texted, it was Ricky at the time. I was like, who knows Leominster? And he's like, Ben Kovacs.
Yep. Because Benny lived in...
that's funny.
Yeah.
Well, Benny grew up in Bolton. So right next door.
Yeah.
And Benny called us, and we used to have a property in Gardner years ago. So we knew the area kind of. And the numbers were just great on the deal. Definitely underestimated the level of work needed. And I think those guys that owned it before us way underestimated the level of work needed.
But they're not, are they existing buildings?
They were 2 existing commercial buildings, old buildings. At one time, it was some type of manufacturing facility that was tied together with a catwalk. Catwalk has since been disabled. Before we got there, it was demoed. But the buildings were in rough shape, very rough shape.
It's commercial or residential now?
All residential.
No, it's residential.
So almost like office, or
there
industrial
was like
residential
it
conversion.
had been through multiple phases. At one time, it was one manufacturing facility. Then it was cut up into like different. There was like a dance studio, and there was like a construction company in the basement of one of the buildings, and there were 2 apartments on the top floor of one building.
Some laundromat with automotive oil changing. Everything was fine. Everything's fine.
This property is
one.
the city's nightmare, and everybody at the building department knows about this property.
Yeah, great. So they're very excited.
They are happy that we're doing what we're doing.
Nice.
That's always nice when you get that level of support.
We thought we had some more value add on the property, but the new floodplain that FEMA just rolled out kind of screwed that plan. So we'll see. We're going to, in 2026, 2027, we'll see if we can squeeze anything else out of that property. But at least right now, 15 units, once it's fully stabilized, it's going to be a great property.
Are you focusing more, well, obviously the third-party GC stuff, but internally, are you focusing on more for sale or more buy and hold, or both?
A mix. I think we'd like to have one buy and hold project a year if we could, roughly, and continue to build our portfolio steadily. And we'll still do spec builds and still do client work.
This is great.
Trying to build like our own construction company so we don't have to sub things out.
Yeah.
Well, shout out Centerline and Adam. If you guys want to follow Adam or his group Centerline on Instagram, what is your handle?
At Centerline_development.
There you go.
Boom. Fantastic builders.
Yeah, if anyone's interested in third-party GC work, definitely reach out.
I think what's really nice about having a developer who's also a GC is the mindset that you bring with it. It's like, you know where dollars are well spent and where it's just not, you're not adding value at that point, and you can guide the client in the right direction. So testament to you guys. Thanks everyone for listening, rating, reviewing, subscribing,
and watching.
See you on the next one.
Cheers.
Awesome. Later, guys.